Okay, let's move on to the next question. My mom and dad have a living trust. My husband and I have wills that we did when we first had our children. Do we need to upgrade to a living trust, and why? So there's no one-size-fits-all answer to that question. Living trusts have grown in popularity enormously for several reasons, but principally because they do allow you to avoid the probate process down the road. Whether or not they work for you is really a case-by-case decision, but I can tell you the reason they've grown in popularity is that the process of taking an estate through probate, which is what you have to do when somebody passes away and you want to change ownership of their property, that process takes, in Illinois at least, between 18 and 24 months. And during that 18 to 24 months, you will be paying a lawyer on an hourly basis to handle court dates and to deal with that aspect of the business. A living trust, if done properly, will cost you a little bit more than a will, but it will allow you to avoid that more extensive legal fee down the road. So that's one reason they've become very popular. The other is it's very, very easy and very, very cheap to update a living trust. So if you're younger, if you have children who are younger, and you might want to change your plan over time, it is very much worth it to consider a living trust. Because rather than going through the formal process of updating your will, that is often difficult and costly, you can very cheaply and easily update your living trust. So I recommend if you're younger particularly, you definitely consider a living trust. There's one other situation in which I always recommend a living trust, and that's if you own real estate in more than one state, you should definitely have that real estate owned by your living trust. The reason being, if you do not do that, that probate process that I spoke about at the beginning, your family will have to go through that in every jurisdiction where you own real estate. So you're looking at multiple legal fees in multiple jurisdictions, and you want to avoid that if possible. You can do that through a living trust that would be much more cost effective than having multiple probates. The last situation in which a living trust is always necessary is if you have a taxable estate. A taxable estate varies depending on your jurisdiction, but every state has a level under which there is no estate tax, but over which you will pay estate tax. There's also a federal estate tax, which has an exemption level of around $5 million. So if you have a net worth that is up in the millions of dollars, and that includes the value of your equity in your home, it includes the value of payouts of life insurance. If that's up over the $1 or $2 million mark, you definitely want to speak to an attorney about possibly doing a living trust.